What is up, dweebs, and welcome back to Han Shot First. I am your captain tonight, and never tell me the odds, but we've got a wonderful non-Wookiee co-pilot sitting next to me tonight. John Bite-Size Vikes, our dear friend, is here to help fill the James void for a week. And before we get into Acolyte Episode 3, John, I want to start by introducing you to our new listeners and giving you the floor. You weren't here last week. What were your thoughts on the first two episodes of The Acolyte, so we all know where we are going into this bad boy?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just noticing how dull my background is compared to yours. I modeled it after the planet Brendock. But no, the worst part is I liked the first two episodes, like, initially. Like, they were pretty cool. I liked what it felt like it could turn into. And like the adult version of Osha and May, I think, is fine. Like, I think that's acted relatively well. And like, a lot of that budget, I think, is in the visuals, which is good. It looks a lot better than a lot of the Disney Plus shit we've seen. That's only 140. We're not
It's all right. You're setting
time.
a tone for later, I imagine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, I think I was in the chat last week too. Like, I was at like a 7, maybe on the first two, 6.5, whatever. But I watched them again, like, sort of skimming through, and I think like the visuals and the few things I liked, I think, sort of muted my critical eye on the first go. So I'm probably a little lower on them than I was initially, but they were still better than episode 3, and showed a little bit more promise. Like, maybe they can still bring it home, but I liked the tone of those two overall. There's a lot of stupid shit that was going on, a lot of nonsensical things that were pretty bad, but I was still able to kind of suspend disbelief and get behind it. I said this to I think to James in the Discord. I was like, I'm the kind of consumer or viewer that, especially if it's something I like, if it's a Star Wars thing, if it's a sports thing, if it's a Marvel thing, whatever, it doesn't have to be the greatest thing I've ever seen for me to enjoy it. But it's dude, that Kev profile picture,
That cracks me up. Yeah.
I thought it was you pulling like some shit.
No, it's not me. Shout out to the live chatters, by the way, while we're here. Harles, Barkley, Advent, what up? James is going to be here and gone real quick because he doesn't want spoilers yet.
Yeah, get out of here, James.
Identity theft is not a joke, Boudreaux. That's all I've got for you is a weak-ass office quote right now. Okay, so you were...
Next week, his username's just your social.
I like the live action DBZ. Okay, so I don't even know where to start with this episode 3. So you were coming into episode 3, you were feeling pretty good about things, right? And now after, as it's season 3, episode 3, we have maybe just one thing that we're going to be nice about, right? We had to put this as the first segment so we can stay positive for the first few minutes. So, John, Soul is carrying this bad boy. The guy who learned English like 6 months ago is carrying the whole show. And there was an interesting bit in the first 2 episodes where he was teaching the Padawans, and his quotes were a combination of something Obi-Wan said, I think in episode 4, and something that Luke Skywalker said to Rey. So it was kind of a cool, like, those are the kind of Easter eggs that I can tip my cap to in a show like this and say, okay,
Mhm.
cool, look at that. Just kind of adds to the lineage of the dope Jedi tree. So what
Yeah.
were your thoughts on Soul? I know he was probably your favorite part of maybe even episode 3, but he's carrying this thing so far is something that I think you said in our Discord, so I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah, every other character is in the middle of the ocean clinging to the life preserver that is the character of Master Soul. Um God damn it. He's fantastic. His character is the only one that seems to give a fuck about who and what laid the groundwork for this being a show. Apparently, he like studied a bunch of Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, and you already mentioned like some of the Alec Guinness influence, and he does kind of like feel that way. Like he feels the most Star Wars of any character or any item or any backdrop. Um, like he's so good. He's the only one I believe. He's the only one you feel anything when he feels anything. He had a tear going in that one scene um in episode 3, like when I think he was like crouched down talking to Osha, and I don't know, he's just very refreshing. Like a lot, some of the other characters are like believable and they're fine. Um but they're all very rigid and don't add much to the writing. I don't think. I think he really does. How do you feel about Soul overall? Like, what's kind of the thing that stands out with him for you that like, uh, is that kind of one as that one character that binds it together? What's like the main thing for you that drives that?
Well, I would say the main thing is the one guy who had to learn an entire new language in order to play the role somehow is also the most studied on his role.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether to just be a simp for that dude or to just be mad at everybody else. Because it's
Yeah.
like this guy had a way harder job than the rest of you. And it seems like he was the only one that was doing his homework. And this isn't really episode 3 at all, but I think what's her name, Vanestra, the Yoda of our current situation, like the boss Jedi,
Mhm.
who I just today in research learned has been a big part of some YA novels and some comics. So apparently that's a really badass character that I didn't know much about. So maybe Anthony will hop in later and fill us
Oh, I'm
in. But
sure.
um, so despite that character, it's been Soul for me that has been as you really there's not much that I can elaborate on, John. You kind of put it very well. He's the part that feels real, and throughout
Yeah.
that, it's sort of what can get you to buy in a little bit. I think adult OSHA was fine. So what sucked about this episode, among a few things, was that it revolved around either one child actor in front of a green screen playing two roles or two children actors. And like like this is objective, I think, but like kid actors just kind of suck in comparison to adult actors. And so when so much of the episode is just about the two worst actors on screen, it's a little rough. Um, and so again, despite a limited runtime, Soul was one of the bright spots. I liked Anastasia, which I'll probably not pronounce properly
She
throughout.
in a vacuum, I like her a lot as well. I thought she feels like she lives in this world, you know?
Yeah, she feels real. What about Coral? Because I am broken now that now that it just sounds like Rick Grimes calling for his son every time anytime I'm watching any Easter egg video, they're like Mother Coral. What did you think about the other Night sister, mother, and or I mean, should we just talk about it? We're gonna have to talk. That's got to be the first part we talk about, right? Is the what did you call it? The immaculate conception. There we go.
Yeah,
John,
yeah, Immaculate Conception, dude.
boom. There it is.
So okay,
The Chosen Two.
right. So again, like if any sort of like okay, if just the if the same sex shoulder caress or you know the same sex co-parenting is what takes you out of it, fly a kite. But it's just that construct not making sense or driving the story really. Like it seems like just kind of a throw in. And the, you know, I mean, it's fine. She looks like shit. She's supposed to be a Zabrak, I think, like Darth Maul, but
Yeah.
she looks like shit. And it's one thing if they found these kids, right, and took them in, and now they're the parents. It's one thing if you know they're uh, they had men before they had to flee or whatever. That'd be something. But all of a sudden, there's this other like group of witches that don't seem to be Night Sisters. We just have a because we have a group of witches that are badass that you could fucking pull from, and you're deciding not to. It seems like
Need more witches.
because they've not yet been driven off their planet. They're still on Dathomir being badass. This is just like a different thing.
Yeah, because these ladies were driven out, right? They said that specifically.
Yeah, from where? And like, sure, you know that little parallel, then the parallel to the Anakin Immaculate Conception, which was like a force ripple or whatever. You know, yeah, it's like poetry in that they rhyme. But if Lucas's version is Robert Frost, we're watching, you know, live action Lil Yachty or something. Uh, it's just not good. Like none of the story is good. It's not gripping. It's not enthralling. I'm not, you know, there's nothing that like. I mean, at this point, my curiosity really is just is is you know do they figure out a way to like bring this home in a way that makes sense? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because they
Like
solved the murder mystery in the first 15 minutes of the show.
solve the murder mystery. Now we've kind of been presented with a new murder mystery in episode
That's the
3.
real murder mystery is the one
Yes.
from when they were kids. Because I
Yeah.
think that is what they're going to do. They're doing the whole I mean, this all just reeks of old like 70s or maybe even older, just old Japanese films, right? Like this just reeks of
Well,
like
what's
a Tarantino fanfic is kind of what this feels like. That's why even with the Matrix vibes, those aren't really Matrix vibes. Those are Kung Fu vibes.
what's her
And
nuts? Headland? It wasn't Kathleen Kennedy. Is it Leslie Headland? Is that a name? Is that the
that's
name?
not that can't be a real name. Come on. Don't be rude.
I'm pretty sure that's the showrunner.
Nah, come on.
Leslie
That's uncalled
Headland.
for. That's uncalled
And
for, John.
that might be a slur now that I'm saying it out loud. And apparently she took a lot of influence. Like she wanted this to be a very like Kill Bill vibe. And she
Oh,
listed like some other random. Oh, she also wanted it to carry tones of Kill Bill, but also Frozen. I'm not sure if you're picking up any of the Frozen vibes she was trying to impart, but that's
I
apparently
wasn't
a
in
motivating
Frozen's
factor.
target audience, to be honest with you.
So that goes to show you, like the team of showrunners is like, Jesus Christ,
It's on crack. Like what?
yeah, dude, Frozen. So I don't know,
Frozen. What? All right.
I don't know what it is, and it's like, and she's also said shit like, you know, the Force.
It's a threat.
I have 2 toddlers, so if people keep it up with the Frozen jokes in the comments, I'm probably gonna laugh at all of them. But like, she's also said stuff like, "Oh, George Lucas isn't the
Right.
all-knowing voice of Star Wars or whatever." Like, no, he is. He made it. It didn't just like it's not just this like concept that was always out there until he made the movies out of it or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just
You think they're
it
trying
was
to
so bad.
explain the somehow Palpatine returned? They care too much about trying to fix their bullshit, fucked up sequel trilogy that instead of just ignoring that and saying, hey, we can do whatever we want in the High Republic era, we can literally do whatever we want. Instead, we'll plant the seeds for how Anakin was born. Maybe, just maybe, Plagueis is out here, and whoever our secret Sith Lord is, maybe Plagueis is the apprentice, and that's how and this will be how he learned how to do that.
If we get
Would that
listen,
help you at all, John? Does that even make you feel any better?
if we
That
so
theory?
it's called the Acolyte.
It's cringe and stupid. Just say it. Both of you say it now. Dude, I hated episode 3. Should I
So
say
that's
it?
a phrase, Shadow. That's a phrase I was planning to use when we got to the ceremonial chant scene discussion. Um, but no, it is. Uh, like,
Oh, I'm so glad James isn't here for this one. He hates when I'm just a curmudgeon all night. That's his word, not mine. So
yeah.
yeah, we're gonna be shitting on
Well,
this for
and
what
that's
do we
the
got, about
problem, dude.
44 minutes? Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
That's the problem is and I really want to like stuff. I'm a Minnesota sports fan. I buoy my psyche with with unbridled, less than rational optimism. That's how I get through my days and weeks and life. And I went into this the same way, watching something derived from something I really love. And it's like, I mean, if it weren't for Master Soul, this would be the worst shit I've ever fucking seen. Episode 3, just in a vacuum. There are much more positives you could pull away from 1 and 2. That'd be something. But this is like bottom 3 things I've sat through.
Here we go. Here's Anthony hopping in real quick.
Shame.
Guys, I can't stay long, but here's my review. No, it doesn't destroy the canon, but it throws major things to question, namely the Chosen One prophecy. Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Harles, that's
Harles
exactly what I thought. Yep.
I'm going to adapt a bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff, screw it up, and then say Tolkien isn't the final voice. On a scale of Obi-Wan to Jar Jar, how big of a joke did this series turn into? Oh, Obi-Wan the show or Obi-Wan the character? Because if it's Obi-Wan the show, I'm saying it's Obi-Wan the show levels. And everyone that has watched this show for a while knows how much I hated that goddamn series. But if you're saying Obi-Wan the character, then I'll go Jar Jar. What about you, John? Let the force be with you.
Yeah, I mean it's down there with Kenobi the show and Jar Jar the character.
Okay, so so that's the full scale Obi-Wan being
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
the good side of the scale. So yeah, I'm on Jar Jar for this, but I see Darth Jar Jar. I'll always keep. That's always going to be headcanon for me.
I mean, yeah, is there a worse character than Jar Jar? Because that's what like universally agreed upon.
Snoke.
Is that our lowest bar? Because I think I like Jar Jar more.
I do love that take from Boudreaux. I watched the movies. I'm employed. I don't have time for the extended universe. That's my feeling on half the Marvel shows. Kenobi the show wasn't bad, but why the fuck couldn't they have Darth Maul? Because they needed to ruin the story of Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan. Oh, go ahead.
And they also needed to definitely not use any of the material George had for the next three movies. They had to make sure they didn't do that. They had to make sure they made it their own, and make sure that they took down and really stuck it to all these racist, homophobic, sexist Star Wars fans that they think are all of us, because of what 40 commenters or something. Like, those people don't exist in all walks of life, and all of them wouldn't just want a coherent story too. Um, it's the most insane shit ever.
Here's Anthony coming back with the rest of his review. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Watto might be worse.
Watto. If a clandestine witches coven, through some kind of strange magic, managed to create twin girls without a man, what does that say for the midichlorians? Witch in vitro. We already hated the midichlorians, right? After 25 years, maybe, we're just like, whatever, we'll accept it. And now here comes this. A couple of knockoff Night Sisters are able to do what only Darth Plagueis and apparently Palpatine, and even when that was lame originally, right? Am
Those
I
guys are
wrong
all
there,
dipshits,
John? Did we not all hate that when it was? Oh yeah, Shmi got pregnant by Palpatine's brain power because he just was. He just thought a pregnancy into her because of midichlorians. That was already dumb enough. I can't understand. It seems that all anyone has asked for is to forget about the sequel trilogy. And yet all this damn company wants to do is make series after series trying to explain the somehow, and somehow Palpatine returned. And as if the sequels didn't shit on Anakin enough. If it didn't ruin Darth Vader's entire story arc enough just by having Palpatine
the whole
return,
bloodline.
Does this not kind of fuck that up too? Right? Like was the plan? And I'm asking here seriously. I know we all hate this, but realistically, John, do you think the idea is that the reason they're doing this is to try to show us how Anakin was created? Because I don't think anybody asked for that. In fact, I think we all asked for it
Nobody
to not just stay away from the main timeline. Just give us something new. Just, you had carte blanche to do whatever you wanted, and you decided to tie it to the sequel trilogies instead. Now I will shut up and let John talk for a minute.
No, dude, I don't even have a lot of cogent thoughts left. Burn it all down. It's what's he saying? It's Chris Stuckman. Oh, yeah, I feel like we're lighting it up pretty good.
Nate's gonna really set me off saying stuff like they need to stick with the Mandalorian. Get the fuck out of here. I hate the It's not a Mandalorian rant episode. Sorry. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I saw that shit too. Yeah, there was I don't know what his title was. Maybe it was just the interviewer. No, it was one of the showrunners or something was like, oh, if like Empire Strikes Back came out today, it would get criticized too. And then something he like slipped up and thought Anakin destroyed the Death Star. He was like, thinks Darth Vader and Anakin are two separate people. Like, these people, the people in charge don't understand what they're doing. Like, it's just
That was a great I could almost put that comment on screen, Boudreaux. I was so close. It's a funny joke. You got us with that one. John's broken with that one.
God damn it, dude. Did he really? Yeah, apparently no. Apparently that's actually what he thinks. Not even because there's nobody who's engrossed enough in this that would like hear that come out of their own mouth and not like correct themselves or like do so the next time. I guess he said it in like 3 interviews. Jesus Christ. No, it's some of the worst shit ever. Like I don't understand who's greenlighting this, um, who is, like wherever the buck stops is the wrong place in this whole organization, and I think they should be drawn and quartered in the town square for all of their transgressions.
I love that. I can't quit watching this show if I want to, first of all, because we got to talk about every single episode. Unbelievable. Hire people who love the series at least. Maybe I don't understand why, yeah, you wouldn't just have people who are already, I mean, Harl's put it better. I'm just going to just steal it and put it back on screen. Hire people who love the
Boudreaux,
series.
we're
Goddamn.
repainting. We're repainting soon. My daughter's been drawing cats on the wall. Just relax. I hope it's not ruining the experience for you.
Yeah. Don't worry about that guy. It's just my evil twin, apparently. That profile pic still freaks me out. John, all you have to do is say it's ass in less words. That's God damn it. I love Nate. Oh man. It's a kid's show. It's
Well,
not for
sorry
adults. You
for
can see it
trying
clear as
to.
day.
Well, yeah. Oh, it's
We're,
fucking.
we're
It
trying
can't
to
be
fill an
for.
hour, God damn. I don't What were you saying, John?
No, it's. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to move to a something else specific we can rip up?
Okay, so let me ask you, do you have any thoughts on who the secret Sith Lord would be? Because the one thing that I'll point out outside of just taking a dump on this thing is we saw Mama Anastasia turn the apprentice Torben into a Jello pudding, and his eyes turned black when it happened. And early in either episode 1 or episode 2, when Osha's having her mini PTSD flashbacks, she sees a version of young May who has her eyes blacked over like that. And there's an idea that they're going to show us what happened 16 years ago multiple times, and that eventually it'll be revealed. Like, that's the real murder mystery of this whole thing. And is it possible that Mama Coral or Mama Anastasia actually brainwashed May, and that one of those two is our secret Sith Lord? The other options, of course, would be Plagueis, the Royal Tenenbaum, aka Tenenbrous. Any thoughts on any of that stuff? Are you into those theories at all?
Maybe Coral, I guess. She seems to be pretty pissed about the Jedi being there. It could be like, I don't know. I don't see it being the being the Anastasia. I feel like she's like she just wants to stay away from everything, um, and keep her people away from everything or whatever. But I don't know if it's not something cool. Like that's the only thing that could be at all interesting is like a sick ass um, Sith kind of controlling it all. Because like yeah, it's called the Acolyte. We haven't seen like any Sith shit. So what's going on? Daggers, cool. Poison that they have to take voluntarily. Ooh,
Still a
like
weapon. Doesn't count.
yeah.
And when was it part? And since when has it been part of the Sith that you can't attack? Like, this is a whole weird offshoot that makes no sense to me. What the only thing I can even put close to this is that comic book, the Darth Vader comic book that takes place right after episode 3, where Palpatine sends him to fight the other guy who took the bearish vow, who didn't just
Mm-hmm.
sit there with it inside a bubble the whole time. And Darth Vader had to kill that guy without a lightsaber, but it was so he could take that dude's kyber crystal and bleed it like that. There was
Right.
a purpose behind that. So yeah, I don't understand this whole you have to kill them without a weapon in order to win. So I don't know what this weird cult is, but maybe that'll be the saving grace. Maybe I've lost all faith in it, honestly, John, because what I was hoping for was something that wouldn't be tied into the original trilogy, sequels, prequels, any of that main timeline stuff. I was just looking for, hey, you went 100 plus years ahead of this timeline. You could show maybe the beginnings of the downfall of the Jedi, some of that hubris, some of that politics and all that, caring more about optics than actually doing the job. You could show some of that shit, but you didn't need to do all of this. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the need for it. The non-Night Sisters that basically do the same thing that they do, except they also can knock each other up. But I don't know.
And
I'm at a loss, Sean. Go ahead.
And they say they're witches, but it doesn't seem like they're doing like magic. They're just kind of doing like force pushes and a little bit of chanting. So I mean, it's everything that they've done is reprehensible. Like there should be no. I don't want to see after this episode. I don't want to see anybody praise it, because then it's just going to keep happening. They're going to keep just fucking.
So brave, John.
Yeah. It's just going to keep happening. Like everybody, I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is at, but lower it. You know, I don't know what the target audience is, frankly, because it's not Star Wars fans.
This is just another thing that we're all going to pretend doesn't exist, right? Anthony agrees.
Yeah, I hope
if
so,
Anthony says that it ruined the bearish vow, you know it's true. Now, Jason says that everything is just chasing the dragon of empire. Everything pales in comparison. What do you think about this one? Think about House of the Dragon? What do you think about if Star Wars and Star Trek were in the same universe, would Captain Kirk be force sensitive? I think absolutely yes.
Spock would probably be the most so.
That's the crossover we need. That's what I keep waiting for, honestly. This series is going to be the one, John, where we find out that Star Wars was in the Marvel universe all along. And then I'll just 100% quit. I'll be done. I'll burn every comic I've ever had. Won't even bother selling it. I'm just going to burn it so no one can ever see it again. Never tell me the odds.
Oh my god. And like, I don't even know if I want an explanation of it other than we were given the miracle of life. Like, that's okay. That's enough. You know, we don't even need it. We don't even need a further flashback of what actually happened, because who gives a fuck?
I want him to rip off Black Adam and have it be like it was a Kyber crystal, but then they had to steal it for themselves. But that's good. I mean, that's a pretty lazy idea, right? I literally just stole that from somebody else's comic book, but it's probably better than I thought twins into your belly, Mrs. Darth Maul.
Where are we at with is this, how much worse is this than the sequel movies, which are really bad?
I would take The Last Jedi over whatever, like, God forbid I get 2 hours worth of whatever episode 3 was. I'd be good on
like, that's what I mean.
Last
like,
Jedi on that. I hate episode 7? I hate that more than most because it's just a reskin of episode 4, which I didn't need ever in my lifetime. But I know a lot more people enjoy that one than I did. Give Benicio del Toro a Star Wars. I want the Zack Snyder Star Wars trilogy where everything's just slow motion.
That's where I'm at, Boudreaux. I like. How does this show have me pining for the character development of Ray and Finn.
No, Derpy, I didn't see that. But no, at 3 episodes in, I'm saying never let Leslie Headland touch anything Star Wars ever again. I never thought I'd look at this and say, you know what? I don't care. Just let's stick with somehow Palpatine returned and just leave it alone. Just go. Just do anything else. I don't care anymore. Don't try to fix it. I don't
Just
fucking
move
care.
on.
Just quit
move
reminding
on.
me of it. It's awful. John, we went through every topic that I had on the docket today. We went through the Chosen Two, our new diluted grandparents of Anakin, because that's my prediction. I'll just spit that out. Here we go. I think it's going to be either Anastasia or Coral. That is our secret Sith Lord, and maybe Plagueis is going to be an apprentice. If they decide, because Plagueis is... Well, no, that is in the prequels. I was about to say Plagueis. It's legends now. I think specifically a lot of his stories are, but he was mentioned in the prequels, right? So Plagueis is probably in play. So I'm thinking he's going to be the apprentice of whoever this is. But what a smarter, right? It could, yeah. I mean, it could be Tenenbrous and then Plagueis after that, but. So a smarter channel than I had pointed out that Anastasia is a lot like the Greek word for resurrection. So a theory going around is that the mother Anastasia is going to be the secret Sith Lord. And if that's the case, then obviously I think it's still going to be tied to Plagueis somehow. But do you think it's Plagueis? Do you think it's one of the mothers? Do you think it's Tenenbrous? Is this thing going to be tying into how Anakin was born? So I think I hate it, but I think that's where they're going with this whole thing. That's what it feels like. Otherwise, why would you do it? What was the point of having, as everyone keeps pointing out, the immaculate conception? Do you have a theory for any of this, or are you just Jesus take the wheel? I'm done with this show.
It'd have to be one of the I agree with this too, because he was intriguing in the first one, and could have been cool, but it's got to be one of those two if they are going to do the tie-in. And if it's not, and it's not one of the mothers or whatever, then we've still gotten zero hint as to who the big bad is, which is just okay, I hope you don't think there's going to be a season 2 when, we're 3 episodes in and don't have anything. Oh, here we go.
Thank God for the boy.
Nice.
Oh,
a little good news.
We'll all be saved from this soon enough.
Football, it's almost football season, guys.
Yeah, we got that going for us. I think, I don't know, man. I think we'll probably be wrapping this thing up soon, but
yeah, that's all I got, guys. If we didn't, I don't know.
Episode 3 has sucked the wind from our sails. We're going to have to bounce back. I hope James had hopped in, gave us that positive news, and got right back out. I'll tell you what, James, for the next few weeks, I'll be looking forward to Mondays a lot more than Wednesdays, because on Mondays, we'll be talking about the boys, among other things, on the Weekly Dweeb. But here on Han Shot First, we're going to be talking about the Acolyte until it's done. And... That's a great joke. Damn. And on that note, chat, you guys were hilarious tonight. I appreciate it. Obviously, we didn't have a lot. I think the worst part about this whole thing was that it was so lukewarm. I don't know. To me, even the things we talked about that were done, it wasn't even so much that they offended me as a fan. It's just that it all just kind of sucked and was boring, and I don't understand the point of it. And I think the worst thing that you can be out there is boring. And so we're not going to sit here and drone on for 20 more minutes to try to meet a length obligation. No. Episode 3 sucked, and that's all we really have to say about it. James and I, of course, will be here to talk you through and cope with every episode of this series that you choose to watch. But again, you can join us on Mondays to talk about the boys. And John, where can the folks at home find you when you're not guest spotting for us on the Dweeb?
Other random crap on Bite Size Sports. I'll be on the bounce with you tomorrow, which will, might be. We'll see what I think. It's tied at halftime, but if it's 3-0, it might be more sports in general. 2-1 might be pretty heavy
baseball.
Yeah, but before episode 4, I'll probably be taking bleach eye drops and giving myself a vasectomy with a salad fork, and maybe that will boost the experience a little bit. But yeah, that's all I got. Otherwise, hopefully busier soon on Bite Size, but a lot of work going on.
Appreciate you guys all in the chat tonight. Thanks for having some fun with us. I appreciate all the jokes and everything. So, of course, outside of Dweeb, and John already mentioned Bite Size Sports, you can hang out with us tomorrow. We still have the Clout Route going on Tuesdays and Sundays from 6:20 to about 8:30 Eastern. That's Tuesday and Sunday night. So go ahead and check us out there. If you want to see Danny and I talking about the boys, we were on this channel just yesterday doing it. So go watch that stream. It was a lot of fun. In the meantime, we appreciate you all for hanging out with us. Thank you so much. And remember, Han shot first.